The notes for the patch 13.24 are now out, and today I am gonna go through all of the changes that they have made for this patch. So welcome everyone, my name is Comet, and let's get straight into this. And right off the back, there is one new feature that they have released, which is cast at maximum range. This is a toggle that what it will do is when you press an ability, it will be casted as soon as a target enters your range. This is, for example, really useful for when you're using a character such as Malzahar. This way you can flash an ultimate, and your ultimate will be cast as soon as you flash if that ability is within range. This is awesome because you will not have to worry about spacing this that much if you have this on. So for all of you people who have instant cast abilities, this is really awesome. And even for you who want to push your edge or push the edge of your spacing to even further of what you had in the past, this might help you in achieving that goal. Next, we have a new character, new champion, Hui. This is a mage. Supposedly, it's a mage, and it has quite a lot of abilities. And I want to make a separate video about him because I know a lot of people might be confused on what he does, but you're gonna see that once you understand his basic mechanics, he's very straightforward in his usage. It's not like people think. Once you test it and once you see how it works, it's not how people think it is. People think that is something like Invoker from Dota, where you have to queue all of your abilities, for example Q, R, E, W, etc., just to make something happen. But that's not the case. Hui is more like a Jace with a temporary transformation. It has the fire transformation, water, and so on and so forth. But I'm gonna go more in depth about that in the future. I'm very excited for this though. Definitely gonna go and try it out myself, and I'm gonna be making a quick guide on how everything works on him, because a lot of people seem to be confused. You're gonna see that it's much simpler than what it seems originally. Let's continue to Asir now. This is very important because Asir has been getting buffed for several few patches now, and he is getting buffed once again, and this time he is having more damage on his W, which is important because with this, what it will happen is that this adds to all of the damage that he has already been getting from previous buff, plus now his W procs on hit attacks. So maybe this is the time to shine for Azir. One of the things that the Riot developers have said is that we are gonna continue buffing Azir until you guys play the way we want. So really, if you want to start practicing Azir, this is the best time because it will only get better and better, at least according to Riot. We never know, they might nerf it next patch, or maybe not. One thing is certain, that with all of the previous buff that he has been getting, this is a really good champion to play, especially considering that there's a lot of Syndras out there, there's a lot of Orianas out there, and Azir is really good into these characters. So definitely give him a try if you are interested into learning him. This might be the best way to do it. Next is a small change to Braum. In fact, it's a buff. They have increased the mana regeneration, and his feature, the knock-up, will last slightly longer. Now, this is definitely not enough to make him viable, but it is one of those few changes that will add up in the future. So maybe Braum might not come back into the meta right now, but we need to keep an eye on him for the future. Bria, the best way to go through Bria is they nerf the base stat, they nerf the Q, they nerf the W, they nerf the E, and they change how the R work. But will this mean that Bria is completely out of the meta? The truth is that Bria is very, very oppressive in the lower levels. So a nerf like this might only make her get close to a balanced state rather than a weak state. This is definitely a Bria death sentence in the higher levels, though. Especially considering that now there are characters such as Graves who are getting into play. There's Ivern, who is still strong. in characters like this. So Bria might have fallen off if you're above diamond. If you're below diamond, maybe she will still be strong. Might need some testings, but the truth is that these nerfs are pretty big. So if you want to start going, for other characters, this is definitely the best time to do it. This is not the time to go for Briar because she got hit quite hard this patch, and on the previous patch she already has received, or she received even more nerfs on the previous patch, and now she's getting nerfed again. So Briar is one of those characters that Riot wants to balance. The problem is that the kit itself is a very straightforward, so it definitely relies on numbers. So you cannot balance this thing out of sheer numbers. So let's see what they do in the future, because um, this might be one of those characters who is either very strong or very weak. Let's see how it continues growing, how she continues growing. But in my eyes, she will not be weak. I think she will just be balanced, or a good pick, but not a top super tier most man pick. In the higher levels, that's for sure. In the lower levels, we never know because people make so many mistakes, and something like this is very nice to pick to punish those mistakes. After all, this is like a stronger Warwick. That's really what she is. So, does she will she stay in the meta or not? In my eyes, considering that Graves is so broken at the moment, mm, I think the higher levels is over for the it's over for Briar. In the lower levels, I think you can still pull her out, but you might want to transition to these Wukongs, to these Jarvans, to these characters that people are using in the higher levels that are simple to use, but still maintain that power. So Nocturne as well. I think she cannot deal with Nocturne anymore with these changes. So I I think she will be an okay pick, not weak, not top tier for sure, but she will survive in the lower levels. In the higher levels, I think she's done. So let's continue. Galio. Now this is a good buff because they reduce the cooldown on the Q, but this is a there is a problem with this. Same for Gragas. Gragas, they reduce the cooldown on the passive, and these two characters, these two Galio and Gragas, are and tanks in general, the problem that tanks have at the moment is that they no longer get mana from items as reliably as before. So they tend to struggle quite hard on their mana, on their sustain, in terms of mana in the laning phase. So you will either have to go for tier or simply or simply not pick these characters. But these are really good buffs. They buff Galio. The Q has a lower cooldown, which is nice. And the happy hour, the passive from Gragas has lower cooldown as well. But this is in the later stages of the game. You still will struggle in the early game. I think a better buff will be in the early game in my eyes, especially because I like Gragas a lot in the top lane. I feel like he feels a very good spot as a hybrid of being able to go full AP or being to go full tank. Same for Galio, kind of, in the mid lane. But because they struggle so much with sustain of mana, they need to change that first, or you can go for tier builds. And if you go for tier builds, then DCs just make your character much stronger. And I think Gragas is perfect because he counters a lot of the engaged characters that are very popular at the moment in the meta. And both of them counter them as well. And especially Ivern counters those engaged characters as well, but he's getting nerfed this patch. Now, this nerf is not strong enough to make him fall off meta, but it does give now the opportunity to some champions to deal with Ivern, because Ivern was starting to become too strong in the higher levels. especially getting closer to Challenger. But due to this nerf, now you can now you will be able to reliably punish him in your skirmish. Um, with the other strong picks, this just makes it even so that it really is about skills, in terms of jungling, and not a matter of who has the higher stats. So it's a good nerf for Ivan. He will not fall off the meta. Um, but now the playing field is even. That's my thoughts on this. Cassante now. I play Cassante a lot. I love Cassante, and his main issue, just like with Gragas and Gallo, is the mana. If you try to trade a lot with Cassante, you're gonna run out of mana. And they have made a really good buff because they reduced the mana cost in the W, and they have increased the damage scaling as well. And this is awesome because that means that you might be able to go with tier into Jack Show, and you are gonna have a massive amount of damage in lane. People already are going Jack Show into certain matchups, so now there is an even more incentive to do it. In fact, not only Jackshaw, but a lot of people are going something like Jackshaw Radiance Virtue, and now you have so much power in the early game because your build is cheap that the enemy will not be able to deal with you. But you might go for, if you truly want to impose yourself in lane, you need a tier build, because man, you use your Q 4 times and you're out of mana. You cannot trade. So you charge it once and you will not be able to charge it a second time because you're gonna be completely out of mana. So any buff to this is nice, but I do not think Cassante is bad. I think Cassante is very strong. He just have a bit of mana issues. This help with that. So this to me is one of those buff that says to the people who actually play Cassante, hey, we know that your character is still strong, but most people don't. So here's a sneaky buff so that you can continue dominating those matches. Definitely a good buff in my eyes. Continuing with Leona. In fact, Cassante was already picked as a blind pick before. But again, you need to go the tier build. And with this, that just makes it better, especially going with Jaxer. So this is a really good character, especially in the higher levels. Leona. Now this is good. They buff Leona. They increase the bonus armor and the bonus magic resistance by a bit, and they heavily increase the damage of the solar flare. This means, since Blitzcrank became so powerful lately, they want to put an end to that tyranny that Blitzcrank had. And with Leona, you can do that because this is so much damage. They added 50 more damage. 50 more damage at all at all ranks of the solar flare. So this is quite a lot because now not only this, you're gonna have extra armor and magic resistance. So if Blitzcrank pulls you, you can R the AD carry and they will most likely die 1000%, especially if it's something immobile. Definitely really good buff, and this makes and I play Leona quite a lot, so this is awesome because now I'll be able to pick her and dominate once again on my road to diamond. I'm very excited for this. You're gonna hard counter those trash, those Blitzcrank, Nautilus even. This is such a good this is such a good buff, and especially this might mean that you're gonna be strong enough to deal with Tam Kench. I think Tam Kench, Senna Tam Kench especially, are so broken at the moment, but with this buff, you might be able to handle a Senna Tam Kench lane because Leona is powerful, man. Leona is strong, and now she's getting buff, so that's good. She definitely needed a bit more resistance, but they added that, so I think it's gonna be nice. They didn't add too much to make her too oppressive, but the extra damage on the R definitely makes her a good counter. Not a blind pickable character, because you're gonna get destroyed by the Zyras, by the this stuff that will just sit back, wait for you to go in and burst you down. So although what I want to see now is with this damage, with 150, I wonder if you're gonna be able to burst down the mages now. I don't think so because they tend to be very tanky and have a lot of damage. But you can now counter the tanks for sure. So this is good. A good change. I love it. As a Leona player, I like it, man. I love it. Lucian, speaking of AD carries, he is getting his Relentless Pursuit buff. This is not enough to make him viable in the bot lane because there's something called Senna that has so much range that you cannot really CS when she's out there. Or even Misfortune, Zyra, Senna, Caitlyn. There's Caitlyn almost every match. Um, I think that he needs more, but this is a good step forward. I don't think this will bring Lucian back, but this is nice. Now, Mor Kaiser is getting an interesting buff. They are buffing Mor Kaiser scaling, but they are adding somewhat of a quality of life. Now, when you press an R, now when you press R, the ultimate will continue even if the person goes out of vision. Because what the new R will do is that it will give vision for a short duration of you pressing R. So now they cannot hide on buff. They cannot hide on bushes. They cannot hide on fog of war. They cannot go invisible because they will be revealed by the curses are at the very beginning. This will not last for the entire duration. It just will be um, this is just a change so that you can get your R much more efficiently. Because before, what people were doing is that Mordekaiser will flash R on you, and you can just flash in a bush, and that will cancel his R. You can no longer do that. So this is a really nice quality of life in my eyes, and just to have more to work with, they have increased the scaling of the Q. So definitely you want some more AP into that. Still, this is only to make Mordekaiser players' life better. I don't think this is gonna make him a top tier S pick, but this is something good. This is really good. Um, Definitely makes Mordekaiser a nice counter now, though I feel to pick into certain characters. Kiana, they increase the mana growth and the base mana. There's nothing. Kiana needs so much more to become viable. Talon, this is just a quality of life change. Vel'Koz, they were gonna change Vel'Koz quite hard, but they ended up not doing it. So what they are doing instead is just a bunch of bug fixings, but not much really. And there's nothing. And Zeri, they are increasing a bit the AD scaling. And for the damage, which is of the W damage, they are increasing slightly the damage, but not really too much to make her top tier again. Just a good start. Now the growth could be interesting because that means that she might become a scaler, like a worthy scaling character once again. The W, the W I don't think is that big of a change, but the scaling could be interesting because because the base stats, remember that they become better as the game continues on. So let's keep an eye on Zeri. I think the range that she has is good enough to be played. Um, Probably needs a better early game because right now there's a lot of Dravens, Kalistas, there's a lot of Caitlyn's and shit like that that wants to dominate lane. But let's keep an eye on it, because when you scale like this, when they touch the base numbers, that could get out of hand quite quickly. So let's keep an eye on her. Next is something big. The Ranked Season Schedule Update. They have finally announced the exact dates of when the split will end and when the next season will start. For season 2023, the split 2 ends on January 9 at 11 p.m., 59 minutes, 59 seconds. And when it turns midnight and the January 10 begins, that's where the next season begins. So the next season begins on midnight of January 10 of the regional local time. So, for example, if I was in Asia, on my server's midnight, that's when the season will begin for me. So Korean players, for example, they will have their season begin before someone that is playing in NA, just to put an example. And here is the exact date. It's always January 9 at 11:59. That's where the season ends for everyone. Local time, though. So this is something really cool. I'm very excited for next season because there's a lot of big changes coming on. And once the new season begins, once the new split begins, what they're gonna do is they're gonna end the ranked ladder for a few hours until the new patch comes in. And when the new patch hits the rift, they are gonna activate the season 14. I think season 14. They're gonna activate the next season. So aside from this, Arena is back, which is 2v2v2v2, I feel. RM balances, not much impact on the game. There's a lot about fixings. Oh, this is quite nice, the Mythic Rotation. For those of you who love Kaiser, Prestige KDA Kaiser is now back. And this is so exciting. I actually want to go and try to get her. Prestige Project Irelia is gonna be back. Oh no, wait, fuck that. Prestige Battle Academia looks. Oh, I need that. There is only one skin in the entire game that I like of looks, and it's this one. Oh man, these are really good. I kinda want 3 of them. Prestige Lux, Prestige Kaiser, and Prestige Irelia. This is awesome. For the Mythic Chrom, well, you get Mythic Chromas, which kinda doesn't matter. And the current rotation of the Mythic shop is gonna leave. So this is very exciting, man. I'm very excited to go and try to get myself the Battle Academia looks. Holy shit, this is the dream. I don't play looks anymore that much though, but I want it. Probably for my main account mostly, or mainly, I want this stuff. Now let's continue. And finally, the skins, which is the Winter Blessed versions and the Crystallis Motus Ash. Interesting. The Winter Blessed looks a lot like the Hextech ones. Camille looks fantastic in this one. Hui looks nice. Aside from that, the others don't look that good, to be honest. With this Prestige Camille? Oh, that's sweet. Prestige Winter Blessed Camille. She looks so fucking good, man. Oh, she is looking clean. And Camille is one of those characters that now that Riven is meta again, and people are playing Irelia, Camille is good into those characters because she destroys them. So this could be a really good champion to start or to get the prestige for. That's nice. Hui looks nice as well on the Winter Blessed version. But yeah, let me know what you think about the new changes that they're gonna bring on the patch 13.24. There's a lot going on, but mostly small changes that they want to have so that the meta stays stable until the new season begins. So now we have the dates for that, and I am extremely excited because we get a new character that I'm gonna unlock as soon as it gets released, And we get the new season full of stuff because they're gonna change. They're gonna change a lot, man. They're gonna change the entire map, like completely. They're gonna change the entire map, and they are doing quite a lot of stuff. For now, though, my name is Comet, and I will leave the episode just right here. Very excited for the changes, but let's see how it looks. Cause there's a lot of stuff that I have in as a question mark. Like Bria, is she gonna continue being strong in the lower levels? Um, I want to see what else. Let's see. I want to see Zeri how she continues to develop, and aside from that, I think that's it. Especially Azir. Azir, this might be the time to shine for Azir mains, because you've been getting buff patch after patch after patch, back to back to back. This is your moment. One chance, one opportunity, mom spaghetti. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Comet, and I will leave the episode just right here. Not without remembering you that I'm gonna be uploading a Hui gameplay, it's a Hui guide as soon as I possibly can, because a lot of people are afraid of what Hui could be, but trust me, once you try it and once you see how the abilities work, it's much, much better. Yes, he does have more abilities than most, but they are not super strange, unplayable, ununderstandable type of abilities. They're actually straightforward, that once you understand, oh, you need to do this and this, perfect. So wait for that, and if you're interested in that, remember to subscribe. If you like this rundown, leave a like, and let's see how everything goes. So excited for the new season. But for now, like I mentioned, my name is Comet, and I'll be signing out back into the grind on my road to diamonds. Peace.